Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. My name is Stephanie Harford and I am a photographer turned fashion designer, and on this channel I create dresses mainly. In today's video I'm going to be making the dress that you saw on my thumbnail, but it's also right here in the background. This is actually a mock-up for a wedding reception dress for a client that I had, and I have already made her final dress, which you guys will be seeing possibly in the next video after this one. But I wanted to make a mock-up where I tested a couple ideas, but I changed a few things on this one as well as it being a totally different color. So when we get to her dress, it'll be different. But in today's video, this pink glittery dress, I guess you could say it's like a prom dress. We'll go with that. It looks very prom-like. It's really adorable. I loved how it came out. So I'm gonna share with you the whole process and how it came to be. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, if not just for entertainment, or maybe you can learn a thing or two. Either way, I am so glad that it's here. So let's get to the project and stick around for the reveal, because as usual, I'm excited. I was able to work with the model and also work my filmmaking. I'm always excited for the reveal, but please watch through and hope you guys enjoy. Might as well clap. I found this fabric on Amazon and I really loved the shimmer and shine. I had showed my client about it in another color and she really liked it. So since I had the same fabric on hand, I figured why not just use it for the mock-up to see how this fabric goes. I also found this matte satin-like fabric in my stash, as well as a pink cotton for the lining. I placed that glitter fabric over the pink and I just thought it was perfect. And then I dug up all of my pink tulle that I had just to use to fluff the skirt. What I want to do now is make a pattern just using my dress form. I just have to take this dress off. However, this dress is what I'm referencing for the V. The difference is at the time I was a beginner, so these loops were like really far out and I didn't like leave enough space for these bottom loops, so they're all bunched up. That's something that I have since fixed and gotten better at. And yeah, but I want it to have this similar V. That's what my client wants. First things first, we are going to create the design here. It's just gonna be a nice classic sweetheart neckline. I think just something that's comfortable, not too showy. Let me create that middle line here. Right here. And then the waistline is right here. But we're gonna do a little V shape, and I normally do about 1.5 to 2 inches. I think we're gonna do 1.5. I think that seems okay. I apologize that I didn't get to show it. My memory card filled up and I had to take stuff off. I did the basic bodice, portion of the dress, and the back has this as the V. Imagine it mimicked. And going back to the front, we have the V-shaped line that I did in pencil. I have it like curved and then going down. All right, that's a little long there, but there it is. And now I'm just going to do the lines that go up here, straight up to get the grain line. There we go. Looking good. That's it. Now I just take this off, cut it up, scan it, and digitize it. Okay, I cut the outside so you can kind of see how half of it's gonna look. And it looks nice. If we can turn this into fabric, we're good to go. Now I just gotta cut down those lines. Little intermission here because I ordered some new fabric scissors, and this brand has been popping up on just ads like left and right. I looked into them and I just wanted to open because why not? I just felt like I could use some better scissors or shears. I usually use the word shears for cutting hair and scissors for fabric, so. Ooh, here it is. Look at this packaging though. I wish they sponsored me. I don't know how this is gonna go. All right, well, we'll use them for the project. We'll see how that goes. And let's get back to the project. Also, this came actually like a few days ago. I haven't opened it, but this should be the bony. Believe it or not, getting these precuts was cheaper than buying a roll of it. And it was cheaper to just buy 2 of these longer ones than to get shorter ones. So these are the pieces, and then I printed them. After I printed the patterns, I was having issues with my printer, so I actually just compared the pieces to what I printed out and made slight adjustments just so it matched it a little bit better. It was really hard to work with the scanner that I have now, and I'm gonna have to go back to my older scanner, but nonetheless, I fixed it and then cut it out. We're going to put the pattern to the test. This is the lining fabric. It's cotton, so it's easy to work with. Normally I would iron this, but I don't know. Well, we'll get the sizing first. Let's use my new scissors over here. Now I'm gonna iron this and then we'll cut that out. Voila! It's inside out. I mean, this is a very classic, basic bodice, but this is the base. And then on the back we have the V opening up for tying it. Next is the lining fabric, and by that I mean the satin fabric that it's technically not lining, but the outer fabric or the middle fabric. I need to get the satin fabric that goes in front. It'll face the other way, and then we're gonna put tulle on it, and that's what I'm most excited for, so let's get going. As I sew up this satin fabric, I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you guys if you've subscribed and have joined my little family here on YouTube, and also thank you if you've been around for a while now. I really appreciate your support, and if you're new here and you're still on the fence, don't be afraid to hit subscribe. I am trying to do as many dresses as I can. I'm also a stay-at-home mom, and it can be really hard to find the time to do this for myself, but at the same time, like when I do and I see that people enjoy it, it just makes it all the more worth it, and I love what I do. So thank you again for being here, and I hope you'll stick around. So I'm just playing around with the drape. I don't really know. This is kind of the idea I have. It's in my head. This is the best I could do because I would pleat it in a way and like gather it and iron it so that it's more on the bodice, but I also wanted to do some boning channels over the tulle layer. I'm really loving this fabric. It's hard to tell with the settings I have. All right, that is what we're looking at. Another thing that I could do, which it's too late to do it now, but was to like individually put tulle on each panel and then put it together. My client wanted the top stitch, but we also are trying to incorporate tulle for her design. We're still keeping her dress a little secret. So far, I feel like it is looking cute. Now I have to decide if I'm going to attach this to the cotton fabric. This neckline does include seam allowance, so keep that in mind. But anyway, I'm really loving the waist part. That also includes seam allowance, so everything's going to be a little bit smaller than this, a little bit shorter. So we're going to go ahead and cut a second layer with interfacing on the cotton fabric, and that's going to be our structured layer that will layer up with this satin one. And the cotton piece that's underneath that I already cut out and is technically incorporated underneath it all, that one can easily just be the actual lining that will seal off the raw edges and stuff. Let's go cut that layer. the base of the outer layer with some structure to it. And this is what we're going to use to put the tulle on top. But in order for me to know where I want the tulle, I gotta put it on the dress form. Alright, let's pin her up. Okay, I actually think I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a long rectangle of tulle, and I'm actually just going to pleat it to the neckline. So in order to get the tulle cut properly, I'm just going to measure the highest amount, which would be technically up here. I want it to have a little bit of extra just to be safe. I'm going to cut out 14 inches, and then we're going to play around with it once I get it cut. It is just on this bolt, so we'll cut the rectangle and I'll be right back. Okay, it is cut. Dress form, but next I'm going to pleat it. To me, honestly, the way I eyeball pleat is I just find the center of every gathered part or every open part and just push it down. I just pin it as I go. I don't know, that's just my method. So I pin that and then see how it sticks out here, and then find the middle and then push it down and pin that, and then just make these little anchor points, if you will, until I feel like it's enough to put it under the sewing machine or something and sew it down. Alright, I'm gonna do that off camera and then we will cut the excess. Once I get these pleats to be flattened in the way that I think they should go, then I know I can pull this down, and we're gonna go along the seam line here. Alright, there we go. Yeah, I just want it to like go all the way down, and then I want to be able to iron it flat, and we could go from there. But some of these might be pulled this way, so then I might want to adjust it on the top of the neckline. So once I get that all just smashed down, then I can attach it to the waistline, and then we'll cut the excess. It's really flexible working with tulle. I think it'll all turn out cute. Let's do it. Just because I have a lot of excess up here. There we go, and then we'll just cut down that middle. So what I'm gonna do is pleat a couple of spots as I go. I'm just gonna use a fairly wide stitch because we're just basting it on, and some of the spots I'll have to push down to pleat as I go. Alright, now that we got that sewn on, we can then cut the neckline. One way, actually, I like to do it sometimes, is the other way around, like this. It's actually really cute with the ruffle, isn't it? That would be very cute. Unfortunately, I still have to do the lining, which is going to enclose everything, but still, I just wanted to see what it looked like. Alright, now I will cut. Toss it in my handy dandy trash. I'm actually just going to pull and gather with it like this. I think it should be okay. But something that I failed to do, and I should have done, and I will do right now before we get to that, is to just line up the bottom of this and sew it down so it's not moving around, so that I don't accidentally sew it wrong. I'll do that off camera and then we'll get back to the pleating. Alright, I sewed the bottom. Now we can put the tulle back. I'm going to take a lunch break, but I at least want to know what's next. So when I'm done with my lunch, this is what we're gonna get at. You see how I'm doing that? Pulling down all the little pleats, and we will guide it in the direction. Why am I saying we?
Why am I saying we?
I guess because you're here on camera with me, right? I will. But, you know, you're with me. It's fine. This is a good pause point. This is a great place to be. This is progress. And before we put the lining on, I will need to make the straps, and we'll insert those, you know, going downwards. We'll sew those on afterwards, but this is the priority. Let's get this bodice looking like a bodice. Hey, I'm back. So lunch was good, but now I'm back to work. So I was pinning to the bottom, but I changed my mind, and I thought that maybe I would actually iron it, but we're not gonna iron straight on the tool because it's a little special. So I have this shear press thing. It's made out of silk that I got at Joann during the, you know, liquidation and stuff. I like to try different ways to see what's better, and I think if it's on the dress form, it might be a little bit better for me because as I pull down, it's not gonna annoy me and come back up like it was on the table. Yeah, I'm going to just pin and go, pin and go. This color though is so pretty. I'm just like so excited for this one. So now I'm gonna cut off the excess. My scissors. I had a friend that I grew up with and she always said skizzers. And to this day, if I ever say it, I'll just randomly think of her and I'll say it. You guys have, I don't know, things that you did when you were younger or someone did around you and you like can't help but think about that person when you do it. Some things just stick forever in your memories. When I was little, I wanted to see if I could remember an image, and like on purpose, for some weird reason, I just really wanted to do that. So I looked at my fan, and I know the house I was living in and everything. I can't say I knew how old I was, but I just stared at my fan, and it was an old like metal fan, okay, from like the 90s. I was like, I want to try to remember this like forever, and I still have that visual of that fan. Like I made it a core memory for no reason. Like so random. It's to this day, whenever I think of my memory and visuals, I will remember that. Okay, I will say after using these Guggenheim scissors for a bit, they're pretty good. Not gonna lie, they're pretty sharp. I think I'm gonna take the tag off and officially claim them as mine. All right, and then last but not least, let's do this side. All right, we have the bodice. Look how pretty that is. Appreciate how pretty it is. All right, next on the list, now that the bodice is almost done, we need straps before we put the lining on, and then the loops. There we go. Loops, straps, and then we can officially move on to the skirt. I'm excited because we're getting so close to the end. It's happening, and that better not act weird on me because I debated if I should even have the interfacing. And I feel like for my client's dress, later on when I make that, I'm probably gonna make a different decision. But it's good that I tested it to see if it worked okay for this one. I'm just not a fan, so looking good. Alright, so I'm trying something a little new to me, but I have a modesty panel. I lined it up on one side so that it's gonna fold over. Okay, I think I showed you enough of this really not so good way to make a modesty panel. I'm just gonna like try to take it out for the rest of the video. I don't recommend this method at all, so Anyway, I originally did it because I thought that my client wanted it, but later she told me she wanted it open in the back, which made my life so much easier. So for this dress, I even hid it when I do the reveal at the end, so it's really pointless. We're just gonna move on. I have created the negative skirt. Why are there lines? Oh my gosh, there are lines, aren't there? Okay, hopefully that takes the lines away. Okay, you see, that was the moment that I recognized that I could see the rolling shutter lines, and I thought that I fixed it, but every time I speed up, I still see those lines. So I will try my best to figure out the best settings for my camera and my lighting, but I'm starting to really hate my lights. I've created the negatives, front and back of the skirt. They're different because the front goes down more since it has that V shape. This is the actual circle, which is what the back one will do. Hopefully this works out great because I put a lot of work into it. Now I'm going to put this to the side just because I still need to work on the loops and get the bodice ready. I was debating if I wanted the loops to also have some of the tulle fabric. So I think I'm gonna test that just in case it works out. We're gonna like deal with the loops. So I just grabbed this little thing just to kind of get an idea length here, and we're gonna include that. I don't know how this is gonna go, but this is what I'm thinking for the straps. I got it. I finally got it. It's looking a little wrinkly, but you know, like, it's fine. I can kind of maneuver it, but I'm trying to decide if I want to go through the hassle to do another one or not. All right, we have 2 of the tulle layered loops, and they're a little wrinkly, so I will try to fix that. That is that. Looking good. We will cut the 2-inch loops and then we'll sew those in. I'll make sure I know exactly where the seam line is going to be. All right, we've got all the loops, and now I'm going to do them 1 inch apart so I have it lined up, and the last one should land right there. We have our loops and markings. Something else I like to do after I connect the first set of loops is just compare. So I actually pinned all these loops down in case I need to adjust it. And now we're gonna compare them. And then if anything is off, we adjust it. Like, these are looking good, but it looks like it gets slightly off. They're lining up pretty good besides this little bit here. It needs to go up slightly. And this one goes down slightly. All right, now I'm gonna sew this side on. I did the straps. I just have to turn them inside out. I have 2 of them. I made them very long, so I have the option of, you know, having them longer if I wanted, longer than originally planned. See, I want to be able to put the boning where it pops out on the outside. Hello, we're going to be working on the ground now. I think the bodice is at a pretty decent point. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and use this. I do still have a roll. Here, I'll show you. This is like really cheap and affordable tool. It's what I'm going to use to layer up this skirt, but the outer fabric is going to be the glittery one that we've been working with on the bodice. That is 10 layers. This is gonna suck, but I need to open up every single one. I was kind of hoping to like iron them, which I might be able to iron it like this. I just wish this wasn't so wrinkly. I'm gonna go ahead and make a short skirt. I wanted to also show my client for her dress eventually. I wanted her to see the length to know that if for sure, whatever. So this was an opportunity. Like I said, this dress is just like putting all kinds of random test ideas together in similar fabric but not the same. So all of them are folded hot dog style, and now we folded it hamburger style. All this side right here is the folded tulle. It doesn't line up perfectly because tulle is very hard to line up, but it's okay. Did the skirt. I still have to hem it, so like lining up the layers. The lining was cut longer because that was technically the length that I was going to try out, but I had to cut it a little bit shorter because of the tulle. I still think it's a good length for a skirt. I know you can't tell. Hold on. Let's go further. Okay, you can't see my legs because I'm wearing a long dress. Whatever. But this is finally the point we're at, and I'm like so far in love with it. You can see the sparkles. Yes. See the sparkles? Yes. All right, the creative look that I applied to all the videos straight from my camera is just a test. I may or may not continue doing this, especially if it doesn't work well with the color. Since I'm working with pink, I think it looks great with pink. We'll see. Anyway, I don't know yet. Like, I haven't edited to know whether this is gonna be a total disaster, but it's too late now. Anyway, I don't like that ribbon. You can tell it's different. I put boning in this. I put the spiral boning in the front, but I didn't want to use my boning for a test piece. I wanted to like save it or whatever, so I just kind of did little zip ties. I haven't done zip ties for boning in a long time, but I started with zip ties and they're still handy. I doubled up the zip tie in the parts that I wanted a little bit thicker, but otherwise I think it's fine for a test piece. I just have to add straps to the back because your girl did not even do that. So we're just gonna hand sew some in. Poofy little skirt. I need to like tame these straps for like a minute. If you are wondering how I do it, I'm just gonna take these off because like I said, I don't like them. I have the middle. I'm just falling in love with these Guggenheim scissors. At first I was like, they're not comfy, but literally, they're so nice. Okay, so first I'm going to cut a little slit there, and then we're gonna cut a little slit there. Okay.